Happy Easter to you. It's Uncle Odd, Uncle V, Uncle Crypto, Uncle whatever you want to call me. I don't care. It's been a while. Sorry about that. It's been busy, man. I have been working on this self-directed IRA business, and let me tell you something. Crypto, done well, is hard. But let me also tell you this. Crypto, done well, doesn't have to be hard. That'll make sense to you here in a little bit. But that's why you're watching. Because you're going to let Uncle V do all the hard stuff. And then ultimately, I'm just going to tell you what to do. But, man, oh man, is it frustrating to figure this crap out from Jump Street, from scratch. Excuse me, I'm just getting out of the neighborhood here. Bear with me. Alrighty, boys and girls. Here we go. Okay, so from a macro standpoint, I'm just thinking that when we get this all figured out, pretty much everyone I've been thinking about this, everyone out there should have a 401k or an IRA. Even if you're young, I'm going to convince you by the time this journey is all done that you're going to be the smartest mofo in your class. You know, I don't care if you're 18 years old. If you start following Uncle V's advice, you're going to look back and say, man, he's my favorite uncle. He's my favorite uncle because he was right. So initially I was thinking that this, my positive influence might help impact those who are older like me, who might be, 50-ish, a little older. You can start drawing from your 401k or IRA when you're 59 and a half. Not that that would be a smart thing to do, but you could. It kind of starts telling you, hey, you're not as young as you think you are. You're getting old, man. So I'm only 3.5 years away from that. 3 years, actually. I'm 56 and a half. And feel like I'm 25, though. So screw you, age. I don't care. We're growing younger in our 50s. And I mean that. Feeling better every day. Get my walks in. Go to the gym. Try to watch what I eat. Losing weight. Focused on a healthy lifestyle. And don't drink anymore. So, my body has been thanking me. So I'm going to live to be 152 years old. And that's a lot of time for my IRA investments to work for me. So, and the only reason why it's 152 is because that's the pact I made with my dog, Zammy. If you have not started following Zammy on Instagram, right now, put this on pause, go to Zammy Pup on Instagram. Be his 144,000th follower. He has more followers than Uncle Odd does, that's for sure. But Zammy's awesome. And somebody asked me what the average age was for a sheepadoodle. That's what he is, half Old English sheepdog and half giant poodle. And I didn't even want to think about that answer. I didn't know, so I made an answer up, and that answer was 152 years old. And I said it to them just deadpan, was totally serious. So I came back home, and I shared that with Zammy. And indeed, he concurred that he'd hold out until then. So I'm just going to match my age. I guess I'll be a hell of a lot older than he is. He's 5 years old now. So that's 147 plus 56. You do the math. That's how old I'm going to be. We'll pass together. So, where were we? So this, I had these 3 IRAs, 5 or 4 actually, from different times that I was with different companies, and I liquidated all of them, got them all into cash, and then in my rich imagination, what I thought I would do was I would just get them all rolled it over into a macro IRA, and I'd start trading crypto because it would be protected, right? To where there would be nothing taxable within that IRA until I started withdrawing. Now you can withdraw at 59 and a half, but you don't have to. The new age is actually 72 years old. Used to be 70 and a half, but I learned this morning through research that it's 72. And at that point in time, when you're an old crotchety, get off my lawn guy, you're talking about, I'm going to go across the street here. At that point in time, you better start taking some money out of it. You can take 4.5% a year out. But, because you better start enjoying it. I mean, come on. You're freaking 72 years old. Start living your life. Your kids don't matter that much, right? You don't want to leave your progeny that silver spoon completely, entirely. You want them to work for something. So, treat yourself. Treat yourself. But, where were we? So, my thought was that we would just get this IRA. I'd start being able to trade crypto. Well, and that's where all the problems began. And why you have to do it right up front. Because you're kind of playing for keeps. So the first thing you have to do is you have to find a company who's going to help you set up your LLC. And I have found that company. I told you, I've shared who they are before. But I told you I wanted to wait till I got everything ironed out and the whole process nailed down before I prepare a full video that's going to tell you exactly how to do what. Because I don't know about you, but like I said, crypto's hard until you do it, and then it doesn't have to be hard. But man, when you are just a newbie and the language is all new to you, it's scary, man. I will say, to give you some encouragement, that the more you do it, the more it starts becoming second nature, and not so scary. But you do have to pay attention up front, man, to all the dangers associated with it. And I'm not going to go into that on this video, but you got to be smart. We'll cover that. When I do the macro video explaining all of this, my hope is that you're just going to get your pen and paper out, start taking notes. And you'll appreciate that Uncle Odd has done all of the heavy lifting for you. And all you have to do is do what I say. And then you can safely get yours set up. Because here's what happens. You just run into roadblocks. I have. That's been my experience. Is you just don't know what you don't know. So, you have to initially, when you choose the company, They're going to set up, you got to file your LLC with the state to make it a legal entity. And so there's a process there. You have to apply to the state, so you have to think of a name for your company. You have to have an email. This is important. Ultimately associated with your LLC. Like mine is Uncle V Holdings LLC. So I ended up, the email that I'm using is, I mean, you talk about being creative. How about this? Uncle V Holdings LLC at gmail.com. That is really important to keep everything separate from your personal money, because you do not want this crossing over. And I about made a big mistake this weekend that I'll share with you, but damn it, thank God I didn't do that. I listened to one guy who had a lot of conviction in a one of these groups, and I just double checked with my accountant, and he goes, "Oh, young man, no. That would be dumb." Because this dude told me that when you connect to the exchanges, like let's say Gemini or Coinbase, he said, "Oh, because it's your personal IRA, you can use your social security number on it, so just use a different email address than your regular account." No, you use your EIN number that you get from the state when your LLC is registered. If I would have gone through and did all of my investing with the exchanges, bought coins, if I would have not realized it, this is why I'm telling you, you want it kid tested, uncle approved, because I'm not going to make the macro video until I've completed everything and I know that it works. And it's important because, man, that would have sucked if all of a sudden I start getting all these tax liabilities from the government unnecessarily because of a freaking connection to an exchange with my social security number instead of my EIN number. Now, there may be some of you out there that are like, "Yeah, no shit, Uncle Odd. Duh." Well, not so fast. Not so fast. I don't think there are any stupid questions when it comes to being a newbie and being in crypto. But there's a whole lot of mistakes that can happen. So, if you're one of those guys that just thinks any question is dumb on this channel, then you know where the exit is. Go watch smarter people than me, because I don't know shit. But I'm learning. So, gosh, you choose the company, they work with you to set up your LLC. You end up, once you get the papers, which basically is your articles of incorporation, and you get your EIN number, which is like your social security number for your business. Then you go to the bank and you have to set up a bank account dedicated to your LLC that you just received. So you have to go to them. You don't have to have all of your funds ready to be to deposit. Doesn't matter. You can open it up with $100, which is fine. Now, of course, you're using your personal money to open it up, but as I understand it, and you should, you should reimburse yourself that $100 just to keep everything separate. Another thing I learned is that, you know, if you've been around here before, you know I'm wacko about offline cold storage, and I like the Trezor T, and I ordered one especially for this purpose, and I saw some comments in a Reddit that was talking about this subject, and there was an accountant in there that was saying, and order your Trezor T or your Ledger, whatever you choose, order it and pay for it by your LLC. So my LLC isn't funded yet, so I don't know what I want to do there, because I bought one already. That seems to me a little overboard. I'm going to name my ledger, the name of my LLC. I think it's okay, but I'm just telling you that's what they say. So I'll research it. If that's a deal, if that's a thing, that's a thing. Maybe it's just extra protective measure. Bottom line is, you just want to keep everything separate, so that the IRS never accuses you of doing anything outside the protection of this LLC, which means all of the work that your money does within this LLC is tax deferred. By deferred, that means after 59 and a half, when you withdraw $100, if you don't have a job, then you're taxed at the lowest tax rate possible. So what might that be? 20%? I don't know. Now, if I took out anything at 59 and a half and I'm still employed, basically the only benefit that I have is that, you know, I'm not penalized, because if I took it out at 58 and a half, I'd be taxed at my then current rate, and I would be, I'd get hit with a 10% penalty. So you don't want to do that, obviously. But the idea is okay, let me just back up. Let me back up. Okay, the idea here, guys, is when we start figuring this shit out and we have everything connected and working the way it should, then if Bitcoin goes up to, let's say it's trading right now at like 60, it got over 60, and then I woke up and it was like 58. Now, if Bitcoin pulled back to 48, let's say, well, the people smarter than me would probably say buy the dip, because that's how Bitcoin works. You should never sweat the dips. If you have Bitcoin, and it's especially within this investment vehicle of a self-directed IRA LLC, the beauty is the dips should never concern you. So you're not going to lose your freaking mind, because you are forced to be in it for the long haul. And that's a beautiful thing. So you can just sit back, go for a walk, smoke your cigar, whatever you like to do, and you're not going to be bipolar. Boo! Oh, it's low. But what you can do, guys, is if it's trading like it's 75, you know, you might want to be able to take half of your Bitcoin perhaps, and you might want to turn that into USDT, which is basically a coin pegged to the dollar. if you think that it's just ripe and it's up there, or if you have another coin that's mooned and you're like, I'm out, and you take that 1,000% profit, you convert it to USDT, so it's basically like converting it to dollars, let's say, and that's your dry powder. If you were doing it outside of the protection of the LLC, guess what? The exchange would send a letter to IRS and say, John Smith just made $1,000 off of that transaction. Tax his ass. Not with us. We don't care. I don't care. So I'll take that profit. I'll turn it into USDT. And then when you have the inevitable pullback and Bitcoin goes down to 42, I'll swoop in, buy it at 42 with my dry powder, and let it rise. Let it rise. I won't sing for you. But do you see what I mean? That's the magic of this. You don't have to worry about the frickin' tax man. And you have a lot of time on your side. And with you young people, you can invest up to $7,000 a year into your personal IRA. The time value of money, especially if you're smart like you are, and you're playing the crypto game, so you don't give a shit about the debasement of the fiat dollar because you're smarter than that. You know that's inflation is just going to kick the crap out of your dollar, and the buying power is just going to go down year after year. So if you get in early, that initial $7,000 or maybe not even seven. Maybe you just say, every year I want to dedicate a couple $1,000s to my self-directed IRA. And Jesus, when you turn 59 and a half, how many millions are you going to have in there? I'm not even kidding you. If you're smart and you start thinking this way now. Because, man, this next 15 years is going to be really, really super exciting, isn't it? I think so. But then you smart kids who are also playing this crypto game with your personal money, you should be. You're going to be to where you're going to have a coin that moons, and you'll have like 20 grand of profit. You know what? Just freaking take 7 grand. 7 grand, put it into your long-term stash. So this should be considered your long-term stash. Now, if you do that right, that's going to grow like crazy. So let's say that your 7 grand every year doubles because you're playing this crypto game, maybe even more than that. And let's say you actually need something out of that. And you know you're going to have to pay the taxes and you're going to have to pay a 10% penalty. Well, that used to be a big deal. That used to be a big deal for us people that were just thinking in fiat, in dollars. But when you're looking at the gains that we're sure to make in this crypto asset class, you know what? That 10% is going to be so insignificant. So I'm just telling you that if you did need access to it, you should. You could have it. But better yet, just be disciplined. Don't worry about it. All right, I'm going to spare you this. Sorry, I had to. But I think you can deal with it. I think you're big enough boys and girls that you can deal with Uncle Odd having to spit. So that's why I'm just, determined to become a subject matter expert on this self-directed IRA LLC business. I did learn that there is a is that 401, it's some kind of trust associated with it if you are self-employed. That's a different animal. That confused me too, because I was speaking Greek and a friend of mine was speaking Spanish. We thought we were both speaking English, and I was speaking in the voice of a self-directed IRA LLC, and he was speaking in the voice of a trust, and they're different. So again, when you go to sign up for the exchanges, it matters. It matters. And that's been the most frustrating part for me so far, is connecting my bank account to the exchanges, because it's a whole application process. And I don't have it all figured out. I started with Gemini. Well, first of all, I started with Coinbase Pro, and I screwed that up because I used my Uncle V Holdings email address as my primary, because I already have a Coinbase Pro account. But this dude had said, oh, you can have two. Just use your different email address. You can put your same social security number in there. Don't worry about that, as long as you keep everything separate and you can detail it. Well, maybe in the end, after you pay your accountant $2,000 to figure all the crap out, but it's just unnecessary and it's not wise. You got to do it smart up front. That's what I'm saying. But that's the frustrating part about it right now. And then, just kind of thinking forward, some of these exchanges where you can find some of these smaller coins that moon, I don't even know. I don't even know if they take, basically you're, with this LLC, you're becoming an institutional investor, and so they have a different path of sign up when you get your accounts. And they look at you as a business instead of an individual, which they should. So I don't know if how hard that's going to be, or if that I say if that matters. It has to matter. See what I mean? It's just like this. The rabbit hole just is endless. Because I was thinking in my mind, I said, well, screw it. I'll just buy some Bitcoin on Gemini, put it in my Uncle V cold storage wallet, and then if there's a coin out there that I want to exchange or swap, I'll just use what I have in my ledger, send a coin over so that I have some stash, and convert it and then pull it back into my LLC ledger. Seems like that should work. Seems like that should be legal. Seems like that wouldn't piss the IRS off. But that's where you get in trouble. We don't know. I don't know. I'm telling you right now, I don't know. It's why I've been frustrated this weekend, is I don't know all this stuff yet. But I'm going to. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out for you. Figure it out for me, but I'm going to share it with you. And I'll tell you right now, believe me, I've looked. I would love nothing more than a go-to resource of somebody who did their own kid test, uncle approved process. It's not out there. Not with this. This is actually a new thing. And I think it's going to change a lot of people's lives. I really do. That's why I'm so passionate about it. So I think it'll be worth your patience. But that's why I haven't been doing many shows, because I'm trying to figure this out. And to really dedicate, to a channel, to create continuous content and do it well. I think you're interested in guests and things like that, and I am too, believe me. And we'll get there, man. once I have this, set it and forget it, I'll turbocharge the channel and we'll start having a lot of fun. But, you know, you have to get the foundation laid first. Otherwise, you're just building a house of cards. And what good comes from that? When the IRS wins a cometh. Not much. So let's see what else is happening. Yeah, from a personal standpoint, I had exited out of some whole life insurance policies that weren't doing anything for me, that I can't put into an LLC, a protected LLC. So that's just my personal stash. And so I got my Blockfolio app launched, and I've diversified myself and got the number to where it's pretty nice number in there. And the market this last week, especially the latter part, was just awesome, man. Everything was going boop, 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 boop. And it broke through a certain level. And I'm like, I like that number. I showed my wife. I'm like, see, when I take screenshots and I send it to you, this is kind of the new measure. I'm fully deployed. So based on that, let's see where we go. And that particular snapshot, just in like a day, it was crazy. It went up thousands of dollars. And I was just like, man, I love crypto. You know, that tree grows to the sky. Woke up the next morning, and it was all down like 10%. I'm like, what the? We don't like that number. We don't like that number. So, when they say, if in doubt, zoom out. Take a look and be patient. Because that's just the nature of this beast. And sure enough, today, 24 hours later, where I say it went down like 10%, now it's back to, it's not back to where it was, but it's getting close. And I mean, tomorrow it could be up 10%. There is a lot of talk that Bitcoin is going to keep testing the 57,000 number, and is ready to rocket up to the mid 70s. So that's what the people way smarter than me are talking about, that is their next target. And excuse me, and I believe them. So I think if you have some money, and now's probably a good time to invest it in Bitcoin. And keep in mind, sports fans, just because it's 58,000 doesn't mean a thing. They call it Bitcoin because you can get a little bit. So if you just had $100, if you had 1,000, if you had 5,000, I don't know, whatever you can afford, but just put a little bit into Bitcoin right now, and let's see what happens over the next 2-3 weeks. Be pretty cool if it got up to 70 something. But even that, even when it gets up to that, in my personal stash, meaning what's going to be reported to the IRS, I'm just not selling. The only thing I'm going to sell, like I'm not selling my Ether, I'm not going to sell Bitcoin. My largest holdings is XRP, because that's what this dude told me to buy when I first got into this. And people way smarter than me say, friends don't let friends buy XRP. I heard that last week. I thought that was funny. But I got in at 22 cents, and it's now like at 60. It got up to, I think, 66 cents 2 days ago. And that's one that when this SEC lawsuit gets settled, which it will, and when it gets relisted on the exchanges, because they delisted it from Coinbase and others, when that happens, that coin's it'll go over $1 like overnight, I believe. Not investment advice, because I don't know shit. I mean, I'm not buying any more of it. I'm happy with what I have. But when that starts to move, my macro number in the portfolio will start to be, that'll be fun. That'll be real fun. There are people talking, because the use case for XRP is so amazing that, and Ripple's making these contractual agreements with so many companies. It's like people are saying it could be, $10, $12, I don't know. But I'm a believer. I've listened to enough XRP channels to be a believer. So I'm a believer. Now, I bought it at 22 cents. It's at 60. Shit. Bought it second week of January. How can I be pissed at that? It ended up getting delisted because of this SEC lawsuit, but it looks like that's based on nothing, a whole lot of nothing. So I feel pretty bullish about XRP, and I'm just bringing it up to say that these coins that I think have great utility, I'm just gonna hold them. Certainly. And look, you day traders out there, you might say, you idiot, take your profits. And they're probably right. I should probably figure out, I think I will, at some point in time when it gets to the level to where, it goes above $1, I'll probably sell enough to, no, I probably won't. Why? Because I don't want to pay that tax. Because I believe it's going to continue to go north. And if I can get it past a year, then I pivot into long-term capital gains where I'm only taxed 15%. And, that delta of 20% grows up to be real money. So I probably won't. Anyway, moral of that story is, on these coins that are kind of the blue chip ones, it's almost like at one point in time, there are people who bought Apple stock at $200 and sold it at $600, feeling like heroes. Look at them now, a decade later, kicking themselves. So I'm just not, and plus, from a mental health standpoint, this kind of hodl, buy and hold lifestyle suits me, because otherwise I just freaking go nuts, man. The charts are just too manic. So that's why I'm not going to be that guy who tries to find all of these small coins and bet on them. And, those are ones that go to zero 90% of the time. What good comes from that? Now, some of them will, I don't know, but I'm part of this Moonstream group, and Mike Newton gives 1 or 2 coins a month, and I love that. And he's one of these guys saying, we let the coin come to us. Matter of fact, he just sent a sell order to the group for those who invested in a specific coin 2 years ago. Everyone who did and sat on it and was patient, they're going to make an ass load of money today and be happy to pay whatever long-term capital gains tax they are. So I like that. I like just being told what to do. Takes the pressure off. But with Bitcoin, man, if you have not If you have not gone to Audible and downloaded the book, bought the book, Bitcoin, Hard Money You Can't Fuck With, then it's your loss. And if you have not searched, this is free, on YouTube, the Michael Saylor series, that's 10 videos, and you haven't listened to the 4th and the 8th video, it's your loss. When you do, you'll start changing your whole worldview related to Bitcoin. It's not going away, guys. The scarcity component of Bitcoin, the world adoption of it, it is like magic. I don't care how up and down it goes. When you pull back, Bitcoin is going nowhere but north. And that coin, a Bitcoin, is going to be worth $1 million, probably within the next 3 to 5 years. It's 58,000 now. So even if you can only buy $100 worth, $1,000 worth, just buy it and hold. Just buy it and hold. It's not going away. It's not going to zero. It is basically, I mean, there are all of the, just get the book, just download the, maybe you're a reader. I don't know. I don't have the attention span to read. I don't like sitting down and reading. But I'll listen to the heck out of a book. I finished it for the 3rd time this week. And I'll probably listen to it a 4th at some point. It never gets old because I love it. The author is just awesome. So do that. If you haven't already, you'll thank me long term. But it'll just make you feel better about Bitcoin specifically and the crypto asset class generally. And man, I don't know, it's good to be living in this time, at this time. And the other thing is that I like the shiny object of crypto take my mind off of all the other bullshit going on in this world. I've totally quit watching news. I quit watching news a long time ago, and I would just watch alternative news. But I can't even take the alternative shit anymore. It's just so, and those who know me, who followed me from my Uncle Odd channels, know that nobody's more passionate about, battling the Druid Babylonian bastards, as I call them, than me. But it's just so ridiculous at this point in time, and I realize I can't do a damn thing about it. I'll deal with different. I'm really happy I don't have young kids that I have to, I'm really happy I don't have young kids. Breaks my heart. But I would homeschool them if I did. Just saying. And with my day job, work for a company that invests in lots of startups. And we just got a presentation of this homeschooling curriculum that was awesome this last week. Man, I hope we do something with them, because I can get behind that. I believe in it 100%. To be able to empower parents to be able to educate their kids with a curriculum that is second to none. It was beautiful. Stay tuned. I might talk about that someday. But, okay, look. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the walk. The update, I'm about done. And when I turn around the other way, the sun won't be on my face, so it'll be in the shadows, and that doesn't make good video. So, at this point, I'll just say Happy Easter. I hope you have an awesome week. Stay tuned. smash that like button down there. Hit the notification bell. Probably the next time you see me, I'll be live streaming or something with some guests this week. But if you don't catch it live, no worries. That's what this channel's all about. There's no pressure, guys. No pressure. We're just here to have fun and follow my journey, and I'm going to try to figure things out and share it with you guys. So I hope you like that. All right. Hey, do me a favor, because I am always interested. Go into the comments and just let me know where you live. Where you from? I love hearing that. I'll do that every once in a while on Zammy Pup on some videos, and it's just cool to see how small this world really is, because there's just so many good people all around the world. Excuse me. And with internet access, we can all hang together. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Cheers.
Greetings. Used to be named Uncle Odd, but now I'm known as Uncle Vigilante. And as you can see by the fact I'm wearing a gold chain with a Bitcoin on it, I'm kind of a big deal. Yeah, I'm a big deal. But there is one thing that my 43 attorneys that I just hired told me that I needed to say, which is a disclaimer. Don't take any of my advice. Don't take anything that I say on this show or any of my guests as sage counsel. Why? Because I don't know shit.